the whole company collapses. And so now all of the monies that have been inseminated into your investments over the years that you've labored, okay, for these different corporations, now your money is stripped. And that's how they, rob you of your money. And all these things were prophesied, as we touched on in the previous show. When you go into chapter 50 and 51 of the book of Jeremiah, commonly called Jeremiah, you will see when you read that it's talking about today, and it's talking about the collapse of the United States of America, or the daughter of Babylon. So with that, you have to take all of these things into account of why these things are happening. And again, as we stated on previous shows, I meant to mention on the last show, but I got involved and didn't. I'm going to mention it today. Chapter 47, Isaiah, verses 14 and 15, the last two verses in that chapter. Once you read that, you will see the prophecy in verse 14. It specifically says, "Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor a fire to sit before." Now, this is the prophecy on this country, the daughter of Babylon, the United States of America. When you read that chapter 47 Isaiah, and you get to verse 14 and see that, where it won't be a coal or a fire to warm at. Okay? So what is this saying? This is saying that the different corporations, companies that provide heating for the people here in America are going to eventually, they're going to leave. And that's what we're witnessing, a leaving of all the major corporations here in America that built this country up, the merchants. Okay, as it says in verse 15, "Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth." Okay, from America's beginning. These corporations who established America, okay, that America was built up on its back, all right, on their backs. They built it up for their purposes of profit, trafficking, profit, all right. Now, what does it say? "They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee." Talking about America, the daughter of Babylon. And we witnessed this over the last 37, 38 years. The evacuation of the major corporations of this country, okay? The different steel corporations, and I just heard something last night, which is February 15th, which is a Sunday here in Chicago, Illinois. On a news program that's called 60 Minutes here in America, and they showed where the steel industry is in real serious strait. They're finding ways how to shortcut on how to making steel. Instead of using iron ore like they used to, now they're using scrap metal. Maybe that's why that bridge collapsed in Minneapolis, Minnesota here the other year. Okay, killed a few people on that. You understand? Because they're using inferior materials. All right, but nevertheless, you have all of these corporations who are leaving. Okay, we witnessed this. And just here, this article here, I just got out of the paper here, the Chicago Sun-Times, February 14th, and it states gas firms seek big rate hike. Now, just here a year ago, okay, a little over a year ago, they got a $10 rate hike. Okay, and it says People Gas, North Shore plan, and North Shore Gas plan to raise rates for gas delivery. Okay, People's Gas small residential customers will pay an average of $12 more a month. For residential customers, it will be $10 more a month. Okay, so again, what we're witnessing is a hike in all of the different things that people need to acquire, to get heating, to get electric. We're seeing a raise in rates, okay, across the board on all these different avenues, and people are going to have to pay more. So it's getting to the place with people losing jobs, Okay, people losing jobs and paying more for these services is getting to the place where people are not going to be able to afford any gas or electric or other services that these merchants provide. And by them not being able to afford it, from job loss, from hikes, therefore these companies who are being set up for profit are not going to be able to supply the services to the masses because they're in business for profit. So therefore you can see that this last verse in chapter 47 Isaiah will come to pass, where the next to last verse, should I say, verse 14, there won't be a fire or a coal to warm at, because these companies are going to leave because they cannot make profit, and that's what they're in business for. So therefore, they're going to pack up and leave, and you won't be able to get electric, you won't be able to get gas heating as you have in the past. Okay, you'll have rolling blackouts like they had in California here a few years ago. All right, and California's another state like 20 to 30 billion dollars in debt. They're handing out IOUs to their creditors. Okay, IOUs. All right, that's how serious this economic collapse is. Okay, and with the corporations, everybody here in America, as in other parts of the world, they get paid from the major corporations who control all aspects of livelihood, all aspects of work, merchandising. Okay, they control this, and this goes back again to your international bankers. We can see this with the economic collapse and the far-reaching effects it's had to all nations just about in the world. Okay, basically all nations are affected. All right, just like the nation of Iceland, this whole economic situation collapsed because of this subprime loans. Okay, these collapse of these different banking houses, Goldman Sachs, Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, so on and so forth, Fannie Mae, AIG, Freddie Mac. Okay, you can see banks that are collapsing over in England, banks that are collapsing here in the United States. Okay, so this is a far-reaching effect because, again, this is all aimed at the people of the world, because the descendants of Esau, these Illuminati bankers, okay, headed by the House of Rothschild, as we've spoken of in the past, they are pulling all of the finances from America. They're pulling and have basically pulled all of the jobs, the corporations that they control, out of America, because again, they are the ones who set America up. Okay, and the reason why they're doing this, again, is because they see, and this is the answer that many people who I listen to on talk shows and different TV shows, they don't have the answer to really why they're doing this. Okay, you have some people who will say, well, this is being done because they can get cheap labor in China, they can get cheap labor in India. Well, that's really irrelative, because not relative, should I say, because the people here in America now are working for little or nothing and glad to get a job. Okay, on that documentary last night on that news show 60 Minutes, and when they talking to some of the people who work in the steel industry, they asked them, say, how much money did you used to make a year? And one guy said, I made $50,000 a year. Say, well, how much you making now? He said, I'm making $25,000 a year. Okay, so his salary's been cut in half, his annual salary. So my point is that they didn't have to move corporations out of America to somewhere else because it was cheaper labor. When they are lowering the pay of people here in America, and people will work for a lot less pay because some money's better than no money. You got thousands and thousands of people. Okay, they totally broke down the system. Just overwhelmed the computer system for job applications here a couple of weeks ago.